Midnight intrusion, the rhythmic hum of machinery, had always been Dr. Chenwei's lullaby on Frontier Station 9. An insignificant repair outpost floating in the Cygnus Arm, 3 days from the nearest inhabited system. Tonight, however, a different sound jolted him from sleep, the unmistakable hiss of his laboratory's emergency airlock cycling open. "Computer lights at 30%, Chen whispered, fumbling for the plasma cutter he kept beside his bed. The soft glow revealed nothing disturbed in his modest quarters. He moved carefully toward his adjoining lab, bare feet silent against the metal flooring. A trail of iridescent purple droplets led from the airlock to his workbench. There, slumped against his diagnostic console, was a figure unlike any he'd encountered in his 7 years on the frontier. "Please," she gasped, voice modulator crackling with interference. "Help me, your exosuit, clearly of Nexorian design, was damaged severely along the right side." Through the tears in the metallic fabric, Chin could see her skin a deep violet hue that seemed to shimmer even in the dim light. One arm hung limply, the suit's support systems failing. "You're bleeding," Chen said, medical training overriding his shock. "I need to fix the suit first," she interrupted, amber eyes flashing behind her cracked visor. "Without life support calibration, your atmosphere will poison me within hours." Chen approached cautiously. "I'm Dr. Chenwei, xenobiology specialist and station technician." "You're safe here, Aya," she replied, wincing as she adjusted her position. Aya Kirin, third envoy of the Nexorian diplomatic corps, or at least I was, until yesterday. Chen moved to his workstation, activating his diagnostic array. "What happened to you, Aya?" "Betrayal happened," she said, attempting to disconnect her damaged helmet. "The treaty negotiations with the mining consortium, they were a trap. My security detail is dead. My ship barely made it this far before systems failed." Chen gently helped remove her helmet, revealing features both alien and breathtaking: angular cheekbones, those luminous amber eyes, and a crown of what appeared to be sensory tendrils that moved slightly with her breathing. "Your station wasn't on any charts," Aya continued. "I was hoping that meant safety. It also means limited resources," Chen admitted, examining the complex circuitry of her exosuit. "But I've worked on similar systems before. Nexorian technology is rare out here, but not unknown," as he connected diagnostic tools to her suit. Chen noticed how Aya watched his every move with wary fascination. "Most humans would have called station security by now," she observed. Chen smiled faintly. "Station security is me, an automated defense system, and a maintenance drone that keeps trying to clean the same corner. Besides, diplomatic refugees generally deserve better than detention cells." "How did you know I was a refugee?" Aya asked, tensing. "Third envoy, with damaged diplomatic seals on your suit. Running from a supposed treaty negotiation," Chen replied, not looking up from his work. "I may be isolated out here, but I'm not naive for the first time." Aya's expression softened slightly. "Then you understand why I can't stay long. Once I'm repaired, you'll need at least 48 hours before anything's space-worthy." Again, Chen interrupted. "Including you." "Those wounds need treatment." Aya's protest died on her lips as Chen's scanner revealed the full extent of her suit's damage. Her eyes met his, vulnerability briefly replacing her diplomatic composure. "I have nowhere else to go," she whispered. Chen nodded, already planning the repairs. "Then it seems we have work to do," he said quietly. "Starting with saving your life." Broken Pieces morning came to Frontier Station 9. As it always did, a programmed gradual brightening of the habitat lights simulating dawn. Chen had worked through the night, his fingers delicate but sure as they navigated the intricate circuitry of Aya's exosuit. The ambassador herself had finally succumbed to exhaustion. Sleeping fitfully on the medical cot, Chen had pulled into his workshop. "The atmospheric regulators are stabilizing," Chen murmured to himself, checking the readings. The suit's life support systems were now functioning at 63% capacity, ideal. But enough to prevent the station's oxygen-rich environment from damaging Aya's Nexorian physiology. A soft rustling from behind made him turn. Aya was awake, attempting to sit up despite her injuries. "You should rest," Chen said, moving to assist her. "Your body's cellular regeneration has barely begun. We don't have the luxury of time," Aya replied, though she didn't resist when Chen adjusted the pillows supporting her. "How bad is it?" Chen hesitated, then gestured toward the disassembled components spread across his workbench. The primary matrix was critically damaged. "I've managed to reroute the essential functions, but the quantum interface that connects to your neural pathways will need complete reconstruction." Aya's expression fell. "That's specialized technology. Even on Nexoria. Only the royal engineers would attempt such repairs. Good thing I've got curious hands." "At too much time alone, then," Chen said with a slight smile. 3 years ago, a damaged Nexorian scout ship drifted past the station. The pilot didn't make it, but I salvaged what I could. Been studying the tech ever since." Surprise flickered across Aya's features. "You've been reverse engineering our technology? That violates at least 7 interstellar protocols out here." "Protocols matter less than survival," Chen shrugged, returning to his work. "Besides, I never intended to weaponize anything. I just like understanding how things work." Silence settled between them as Chen continued his delicate repairs. After several minutes, Aya spoke again, her voice softer. "Why are you helping me?" she asked. "You don't know me. I could be dangerous." Chen didn't look up from his work. "Everyone's dangerous in the right circumstances," he replied. "But few people would crash their ship and risk death just to ambush a lonely repair technician on a forgotten station." "Lonely," Aya echoed. Chen's hands paused briefly. "Frontier Station 9 isn't exactly a social hub. Supply ships come quarterly. The last time I had a real conversation with someone was 8 months ago." Aya watched him work in silence for a moment. "On Nexoria, I'm never alone," she finally said. "Guards, advisors, attendants, always someone watching, listening, reporting back to the council. Sometimes I think I'd trade it all for just 1 day of silence." "Be careful what you wish for," Chen said with a wry smile. Silence gets heavy after a while. As the day progressed, they fell into an unexpected rhythm. Chen would work for hours, occasionally asking Aya about specific components or Nexorian physiological details. She would answer, then ask questions of her own about the station, about Earth, about Chen himself. "You were a professor once?" she asked as Chen carefully reconnected neural interfaces in her suit's spine. "Xenobiology at the Pan-Pacific University," he confirmed. "Specialized in adaptive technologies for non-terrestrial species, yet you're here." At the edge of charted space, Chen's movement slowed. "There was an accident in my lab. A student was injured while testing a prototype I designed. She survived, but..." He shook his head. "I couldn't face teaching after that. Took the first assignment that would take me far away." "You punished yourself by choosing isolation," Aya observed. "I prefer to think of it as finding my purpose," Chen replied, though his tone lacked conviction. "What about you?" "Third envoy seems like an important position." Aya's expression darkened. "Important enough to make me valuable, not important enough to make me essential. Perfect for a diplomatic sacrifice." "You believe your own people betrayed you?" Chen asked quietly. "The evidence was in my ship's logs," Aya replied, her voice tight with controlled emotion. "Specifically, the security codes that disabled our shields came from the Nexorian High Council. My own mentor's encryption signature." Chen set down his tools and turned to face her fully. "I'm sorry." Aya looked away, her posture rigid despite her injuries. "Political necessities often require personal sacrifices," she said, the formal diplomatic phrasing sounding hollow. "That doesn't make it right," Chen said simply. When Aya turned back, her amber eyes glistened with unshed tears. "No," she whispered. It doesn't. For a moment, they sat in shared silence to broken pieces from different worlds, finding unexpected resonance in each other's pain. "Your suit should be ready for testing by tomorrow," Chen finally said, returning to his work. "The neural pathways need time to recalibrate." "Thank you," Aya replied, the words carrying more weight than simple gratitude. "For everything." Chen nodded, not trusting himself to speak as something unfamiliar and warm bloomed in his chest. The first connection he'd felt with another being in longer than he cared to remember. Trust in the stars. 3 days had passed since Aya's arrival, and Frontier Station 9 felt transformed. Chen found himself taking longer routes between tasks, just to pass by the small hydroponics bay, where Aya often spent her mornings, fascinated by the earth plants he cultivated for fresh food. "These are remarkable," Aya said, as Chen entered, her fingers gently touching a tomato vine. Her exosuit, now functioning at 87% capacity, hummed softly as she moved. On Nexoria, all vegetation is purple or blue to absorb our sun's ultraviolet spectrum. These red fruits seem almost provocative by comparison, Chen smiled, setting down his toolkit. It's strange what we take for granted. I've always found your skin tone more fascinating than any tomato. Aya's eyes widened slightly, and Chen immediately felt heat rise to his face. That was inappropriate, he stammered. I apologize for, no, Aya interrupted, her expression softening. It's refreshing to hear someone speak without diplomatic filters. My entire life has been carefully measured words, Chen nodded, relieved. How's the suit feeling today? Better, Aya replied, stretching her previously injured arm. The neural response is almost seamless now. You're more skilled than most royal engineers I've known, high praise, Chen said. Though I still need to finish the communications array. Your long-range transmitter was beyond salvaging. Aya's expression darkened. Perhaps that's for the best, until I understand who ordered my elimination. Communicating with anyone could be dangerous. The station's alert system suddenly blared to life, red lights pulsing throughout the habitat. Proximity alert, Chen said, moving quickly to the nearest console. A ship is approaching. Nixorian design. He looked up, meeting Aya's gaze. Military-class fear flashed across Aya's features before her diplomatic training reasserted itself. They've found me, she said, voice steady despite the tremble in her hands. Sooner than I expected. We don't know they're hostile, Chen said, though his actions belied his words as he locked down the station's docking protocols. Frontier Station 9. This is Commander Rena of the Nexorian Expeditionary Force, a stern female voice announced over the comm system. We are tracking a fugitive believed to be in your vicinity. Prepare for boarding and inspection. Chen looked to Aya, who had gone completely still. You know this Commander Rena? My former security chief, Aya whispered. She was supposed to be on my ship when it was attacked. The fact that she's alive confirms my suspicions of betrayal. Chen's mind raced through options. The station has emergency protocols. I could claim quarantine restrictions, buy us some time. Aya shook her head. Military vessels can override civilian quarantine. And if you're discovered harboring me, you'll be charged with interfering in Nexorian affairs. The penalty is severe. I'm not turning you over, Chen said firmly. You barely know me, Aya replied, moving closer to him. Why risk your life for a stranger? Chen met her gaze without hesitation. Because in 3 days you've made this station feel less empty than it has in 7 years. Because you look at my plants with wonder instead of seeing them as just food. Because, ... He faltered, then continued more softly. Because helping you feels right when everything else in my life has felt wrong for so long. The communication system crackled again. Final warning, Frontier Station 9, prepare for boarding or face forcible entry. Aya reached out, her purple fingers intertwining with Chen's. There might be another way, she said. My diplomatic codes, if they haven't been revoked. I could request formal asylum with the Galactic Consortium. The station's transmitter isn't powerful enough to reach Consortium space, Chen replied. But there's a Consortium listening post in the Vega system, Aya said. If we could boost your signal enough to reach it, ... Chen's eyes widened as understanding dawned. The station's main power core. I could reroute it directly to communications, bypass all the safety protocols. Would that work? Theoretically. It might also fry every system on the station, Chen admitted. We'd have minutes of oxygen before emergency reserves failed. The docking bay shuddered as the Nexorian ship initiated forcing protocols. Dr. Chen, Aya said formally. I'm officially requesting asylum and protection under Galactic Consortium law. Chen nodded, decision made. Then let's send that message. They raced to the station's core. Chen's fingers flying over control panels as he rerouted critical systems. Alarms blared warnings of imminent system failure as power surged toward the communications array. Ready, Chen said, stepping back from the sparking console. But we'll only get one transmission before everything overloads. Aya stepped forward, entering her diplomatic access codes. This is Third Envoy Aya Kiran of Nexoria, requesting emergency asylum under Protocol 7 of the Consortium Charter. I have evidence of conspiracy against peaceful negotiations. My location is the station lurched violently as the docking clamps were forcibly overridden. In the distance, they could hear the airlocks cycling open. "They're here," Chen whispered. Owaye finished the transmission just as the power core began to whine dangerously. "Message sent," she confirmed, turning to Chen with determination in her amber eyes. "Now we need to survive long enough for someone to receive it." Chen reached for her hand again, squeezing it gently. "Together, then together," Aya agreed, as footsteps echoed down the corridor toward them. Connections forming the maintenance shaft was cramped. Designed for access to the station's infrastructure rather than hiding to fugitives, Chen and Aya pressed close together as Commander Rena's soldiers swept through the main corridors. "They'll find us eventually," Chen whispered, acutely aware of Aya's proximity. The faint glow of her exosuit's remaining functional circuits cast soft purple shadows across her face. "The station isn't large enough for effective hiding. We only need time," Aya replied, her breath warm against his cheek. "The consortium responds quickly to diplomatic emergencies." A crash echoed from Chen's lab as the soldiers ransacked it. He winced, thinking of his years of research being destroyed. "I'm sorry," Aya said, noticing his expression. "Everything you've built here?" "Things can be replaced," Chen said quietly. Some connections can't. Their eyes met in the dim light, and something unspoken passed between them. Chen reached up, hesitantly touching one of the sensory tendrils that framed Aya's face. It curled gently around his finger in response. "On Nexoria, that's considered quite intimate," Aya murmured, but she didn't pull away. "Should I stop?" Chen asked. Aya's answer was to move closer, her hand finding his face. "In 3 days, you've shown me more honesty than I've known in years of diplomatic service," she said. "You saw me, not my position or my value to Nexorian politics. But me." Their lips met tentatively at first. Then, with growing certainty and exploration of differences that somehow fit together perfectly, Chen marveled at the slight electric tingle of her skin against his, while Aya sighed at the unfamiliar warmth of human touch. A sudden alarm blared through the station, breaking the moment. Chen pulled back reluctantly. "That's the external communication alert," he said, hope rising in his voice. "Someone's hailing the station New Horizons." Consortium vessel dwarfed both the station and the Nexorian military ship in the viewport. Chen watched as Commander Rena was escorted away in restraints, her protests falling on deaf ears as the consortium security chief reviewed Aya's evidence.
"The High Council will deny everything."
Rena spat as she passed Aya. "You've accomplished nothing except revealing your survival, perhaps," Aya replied calmly. "Or perhaps I've finally broken free of expectations that were never truly mine later." As emergency repairs stabilized the station, Chen found Aya in the observation dome. "Watching the stars?" "The consortium representative offered me protected status," she said without turning. "A new identity on any world of my choosing." Chen's heart sank, though he tried not to show it. "That's good. You'll be safe." They also mentioned needing a xenobiology specialist for their new diplomatic exchange program, Aya continued, finally turning to face him. "Someone who understands adaptive technologies for non-terrestrial species." Hope flickered in Chun's chest. "Are you offering me a job, Ambassador?" "I'm offering you a choice," Aya said, moving closer until they stood just inches apart. "Stay here with your solitude and safety, or risk something new with me." "Risk what exactly?" Chen asked, though he already knew his answer. Aya smiled, the expression transforming her face. "Everything," she whispered. "A new horizon." Together, Chen reached for her hand, purple fingers intertwining with his own. Above them, countless stars beckoned with possibilities neither of them had dared imagine before a desperate midnight arrival brought them together. Together, Chen agreed. As they turned toward their future among the stars,